We call the meeting on the regular meeting of the North Augusta Board of Zoning Appeals for January 7th, 2025. We have a quorum here, so it's, we have a roll call.
Kathy Stallworth.
Kevin Skaggs.
Bill Burkhalter.
Jim Newman.
Okay. Like I said, we have a quorum. Next item is the approval of the minutes. They were in your packet. I looked over them. I didn't see anything.
Just some grammatical things. And I think they might be all the same. On the first page, under approval of minutes, Ms. Stallworth made the motion to, and London made the second motion. It's made the motion to approve, and London seconded the motion.
Where are you at now?
On first page,
First page.
number 3, the paragraph.
Made the motion to approve, and London made the second motion.
But it's London seconded the motion. And it's the same thing on page 3, this first and second paragraph. Mr. Newman made the first motion and Mrs. Stallworth made the second motion, but Mrs. Stallworth seconded the motion. You see that at the top?
I got it.
And then the next sentence, the same thing. Mr. Burkhalter seconded the motion.
Any other corrections? For the record, London, take the name for the roll call.
Yes, London Smith.
All of us here. All right, motion to approve as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Second. All in favor, raise your hand. All right, minutes approved. Thank you. All right. Next item is, first application is ZE 24-007, a request by Karen Frelick for a special exception for a home occupation from Table 5.1 use matrix of the North Augusta Development Code. The request affects approximately 0.13 acres on R7, small lot, single family residential located at 25 Pheasant Court, TPN 006-17-06-091. And I will open up the public hearing for this particular application. And Mr. Paradise, can you set us up?
Yes, sir. This is for a home occupation to teach tennis lessons at 25 Pheasant Court, which is in Hammond Hills Villas. And of course, there's no tennis courts there. What this is basically a contract employee with the city of North Augusta that will be using the residents to keep the books and the business license. She has to have a business license to be the contract employee to teach tennis lessons at the city facility. My understanding is the gentleman that was doing it is retiring or no longer doing it. But this gives you an idea of the subject property here. And where her villa is located. And that is, kind of it in a nutshell. We've been through the evaluation and discussed the conditional use portions of the development code with her. And she would comply with all of those that staff reviewed. And in this particular case, all of the services that she would be providing would be off-site. The only thing she does is use it as an address of record and bookkeeping. Any questions for me?
Just for my own sanity. Comparing this to the other one we heard at the landing, what was the building standards official's review of that particular application, since it was kind of similar to this?
They approved it. They looked at it in the totality of it and approved it. And We have signed off on it, and as far as I know, his business is license issued and in operation.
Okay, thank you. I don't have anything. All right. Does the applicant want to say anything? You can come forward. I got to swear you in. You swear to tell truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay. State your name and address for the record.
My name is Karen Freilich, and my address is 25 Pheasant Court in North Augusta.
Anything you want to add to anything to the application?
No, just that the services that I'm, like you said, I need to have a business license, but Rick Meyer is, I'll be teaching at Riverview Park for 2025.
Okay.
But you have to have a physical address for the business license.
Right, that's my,
Right.
yes, that's my understanding. So,
I don't have any further question. Thank you.
okay.
I will open up to anybody from the public want to come forward and talk, speak for or against this application.
Mr. Chairman, if I could add one thing. I did have a conversation with Rick Meyer last night about this application and, confirmed that he was supportive of it. She's serving a city function and taking a position, basically replacing the gentleman that was formerly doing it.
Actually, I do have one thing because one of the things, Rick also confirmed that any deliveries of, like, I go through a lot of tennis balls, that will all be delivered at Riverview Park as well, so it shouldn't impact the neighborhood at all.
I just have a question. Who was the gentleman that previously did this?
Chris Tully.
Oh, okay. I had contact with somebody a long time ago, but I figured he wasn't still doing it, so.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right. If nobody else wants to come forward and speak for or against? Okay. I'll close the public hearing on this application for a special exception. I'm going to cut down some of the reading on this, so bear with me. All right. The North Augusta Development Code, section 18.8.4 defines the criteria the board shall use in hearing and deciding upon requests for special exceptions. The section reads, the use complies with all regulations, conditions, and standards of this chapter unless approved as a major waiver. Number 2, the use will not substantially injure the value of adjoining properties or the use is a public necessity. Number 3, the use is of a size, shape, and character suited for the proposed site. Number 4, the location and character of the use, if developed according to the information that's submitted and approved, will be compatible with the existing uses adjacent to and near the property and will not adversely affect the development of the neighborhood or the district in which the use is proposed. Number 5, the use will not create traffic impacts or parking issues that will endanger public safety or contribute to traffic congestion or unacceptable adversely impact nearby properties when compared with uses permitted by right in the same zoning district. 6, the use is consistent with existing and planned pedestrian and vehicular circulation adjacent to and near the property. 7, the use will not be hazardous, detrimental, or disturbing to surrounding land uses due to noise, light, glare, smoke, odor, fumes, water pollution, obstruction of airflow on adjoining properties, or other general nuisances. The use will be adequately served by essential public services and facilities and will not require additional public expense. 9, the use will not adversely affect any site or feature of historical, cultural, natural, or scenic importance. 10, that the proposed use will not conflict with but will further the objectives of the City of North Augusta Comprehensive Plan. And 11, the use will not materially endanger the public health, safety, and welfare if located, designed, and proposed to be operated according to the information submitted. Denial by the BZA based exclusively on this language shall include explicit findings regarding the way in which the granting of this special exception would endanger public health, safety, and welfare. The Board of Zoning Appeals shall approve the application with specified modifications, or disapprove the application. If approved, the Board of Zoning Appeals shall instruct the Planning and Development Director to issue such permit contingent on the specified modifications imposed. If disapproved, the applicant shall be notified in writing of the action disapproving the application with reasons thereof. Therefore, so we got to meet all criteria. So we'll jump into the consideration part of it. All right, number one, the use complies with all regulations, conditions, and standards of this chapter unless approved as a major waiver. The applicant states that the business will comply with the conditions outlines under home occupations, scheduling, and record keeping will be conducted in an existing space in the residence without alterations. Staff notes that the applicant is requesting to operate a home-based office or record keeping from their residence, but will be conducting tennis coaching lessons at the Riverview Park Activity Center. A home occupation is a conditional accessory use in the R7 single family small lot zoning district that requires special exception approval. So, how do we feel about that?
One.
I'm good. Good. Well, we're all good with one. The use will not substantially injure the value of adjoining properties or the use as a public necessity. The applicant states that no injury to the value of adjoining properties will be made because the appearance of the dwelling will not be altered. Similarly, no signage will be added. The home occupation will not increase traffic or on-street parking to make it inconsistent with the residential area. And the staff notes that the surrounding properties consist of mostly of single-family residential. I think I'm good with that.
I'm fine with that.
Good with that.
Good. Number three, the use is of a size, shape, and character suited for the proposed site. The applicant states that the space that will be used for home occupation is comparable to a student's study space. The home occupation will be conducted in a manner that will not cause the premises to differ from its residential character. By use of colors, materials, construction, lighting, signs, or increased traffic, or the emission of odors, sounds, or vibrations. No changes are needed to the internal or external dwelling to conduct home occupation. And the staff notes that the applicant applied for a special section for a home occupation. Table 5-1 use matrix states that the home occupations permitted as a conditional use special exception, section 5.3.7 of the 2023 North Augusta Development Code has 18 criteria that an applicant to adhere when applying for a home occupation, which are listed above. Staff has reviewed the applicable requirements in section 5.3.7 and found that the proposed use as a tennis coach office is consistent with those requirements. And rather than read through all of the 18 criteria, I looked at it. I'm good with them unless you want to revisit any particular item. We can, I guess, hang our head on the review by the staff.
I know, I did read them all, and all she wants is, you just have to have a physical address to have a business license.
So,
And, I'm fine with them.
anybody have any reason to go revisit any one of those 18 criteria? You're good? All right. Okay, so are we good with question 3? I think we are. All right. Location, number 4, the location and character of use, if developed according to the information that's submitted and approved, will be compatible with existing uses adjacent to and near the property and will not adversely affect the development of the neighborhood or district in which the use is proposed. The applicant states that no changes are needed to the internal and external dwelling to conduct home occupations, so the residence will remain compatible with the existing uses adjacent to and near the property. Staff notes that it has received emails from Rick Myers, Director of Parks and Recreation, stating that he has contracted Ms. Freilich to be the tennis coach, but she will need a business license. So
That's fine.
I'm fine with number 4. No problem with that. No problem. Number 5, the use will not create traffic impacts or parking issues that will endanger public safety or contribute to traffic congestion or unacceptable adversely impact nearby properties when compared with the uses permitted by right in the same zoning district. The applicant states that 3 home occupations will not increase
The home occupation.
The home occupation will not increase traffic or on-street parking to make it inconsistent with the residential area. The home occupation will not use commercial vehicles for the delivery of materials to and from the premises. Staff notes that as stated above, section 5.3.7.1 in the Development Code states that the home occupation shall not increase traffic or on-street parking that would be inconsistent with the residential area. Home occupation expected to generate more than 10 business-related trips per day shall be permitted as a special exception. A commercially operated general office use open to the public, operated by 2 people, generates 7 vehicle trips per day according to the ITE trip generation rates. 11th edition. The business plan involved is significantly different than a general office open to the public, and staff would anticipate a lower number of trips per day and no adverse impact to the neighborhood from traffic. I agree.
I'm fine with that one.
Are we good? We good? Item 6, the use is consistent with the existing and planned pedestrian and vehicular circulation adjacent to and near the property. The applicant states that the home occupation will not impact existing and planned pedestrian or vehicular circulation adjacent to and near the property. And staff notes that the primary use of property will remain to be single-family residential. The proposed use should generate minimal traffic and is not anticipated to include deliveries that is inconsistent with single-family residences. I'm good with 6.
Right.
Good. All right. 7, the use will not be hazardous, detrimental, or disturbing to surrounding land uses due to noise, light, glare, smoke, odor, fumes, water pollution, obstruction of airflow on adjoining properties, or other general nuisances. The applicant states that the home occupation consists of office work that is not hazardous, detrimental, or disturbing to surrounding land uses due to noise, light, glare, smoke, odor, fumes, water pollution, obstruction of airflow on adjoining properties, or general nuisances. Staff notes that the use listed for the subject home occupation shall not generate any external hazardous, detrimental, or disturbing situations. I'm good with 7.
Mm-hmm.
Good, okay with that?
Yep.
All right. Number 8, the use will be adequately served by essential public services and facilities will not require additional public expense. The applicant states that the use will not require any additional public expense or facilities, nor will require additional public expenses. Staff notes that existing public services are provided at the applicant's residence and will not require additional public expense. I agree with 8.
Okay.
Yep, good. Good. All right, number 9, the use will not adversely affect any site or feature of historical, cultural, natural, or scenic importance. The applicant states that the home occupation shall be conducted within the dwelling, so will not adversely affect any site or feature of historical, cultural, natural, or scenic importance. I'm good with 9.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Good, London. Number 10, that the proposed use will not conflict with, but will further the objectives of the City of North Augusta Comprehensive Plan. The applicant states that the home occupation will support and further the objective of providing recreational opportunities to residents of North Augusta. Staff notes that the surrounding property is suitable for residential uses, of which the home occupation is an accessory use and complies with the comprehensive plan. I'm good with 10.
I'm fine with
All
that.
good. All right, 11. The use will not material endanger the public health, safety, and welfare if located, designed, and proposed to be operated according to the information that's submitted. Denied by the board shall base exclusively on this language and include explicit findings regarding the way in which granting this special exception would endanger public health, safety, and welfare. The applicant states that the home occupation will not require activity that materially endangers the public health, safety, and welfare. And then staff notes that if approved, staff would recommend the following conditions. 1, the home at 25 Pheasant Court shall be used solely for address of the business license and record keeping of the business. And then number 2, no lessons will be conducted from 25 Pheasant Court. Okay with that? I'm okay with those 2.
Oh, yeah.
You're good with them? Okay. All right. So we have answered in the affirmative for all 11 criteria. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion based on the findings previously discussed and voted on. I move that application number ZE 24-007, a request by Karen Frelick for the special exception pursuant to sections 18-8.4 of the North Augusta Development Code for business be granted with the following exceptions. Number one, the home at 25 Pheasant Court shall be used solely for the address of business license and record keeping for the business. And number two, no lessons will be conducted from 25 Pheasant Court.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second, Ms. Stallworth. Any other discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. All right, it's unanimous, so the special exception is approved.
It'd be hard to conduct lessons up there. It's pretty tight. Parking lot up there.
All right. The second item, application. ZV 24-016, an appeal by Beacon Bluff Medical LLC for a variance from Article 9, signs, Section 9.6.3.2.b to allow internally illuminated signage in the downtown mixed-use 2 district. The request affects approximately 1.31 acres on downtown mixed-use 2 located at 150 Bluff Avenue, TPN 007-14-14-001. Now I'll open up the public hearing for this application. And Mr. Paradise, can you set us up?
Well, Mr. Chairman, let me start off by apologizing to the board. This was a mess up on my part. There's confusion on my part, as this application sounds very familiar to you. And we should have included the freestanding sign last month, and I messed up. So I apologize for that. That's not the applicant's fault. That is on me. Okay. So we are back just looking at the freestanding. And this is across the street. You are familiar with the building. This is downtown mixed use 2. And it's to allow an internally illuminated sign, freestanding sign. I'll let the applicant explain if it's going to be halo or not on the illuminated sign, because I'm not sure. That's another point of confusion within our office on this application. Subject parcel there, and this is what the sign would look like. And it is, with this freestanding sign, it does not affect the square footage. You're still under the maximum of 200 square feet. So the only question here is, can they have the illumination that they would like to have on the freestanding sign? It is in the staff report. There are several issues that we've brought out with the size of the building, and the applicants brought out with the size of the building, that may make it a little bit different than some of the others, and not being situated on the major thoroughfare too, Main Street. But that is the application.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Is this considered a monument sign?
Yes, ma'am.
That's what I thought. Sometimes I call freestanding, sometimes I call monument. I just
Well,
want to get that straight.
A monument, and as long as London doesn't correct me, because he's got family that's been in the sign business. But a monument type sign is a type of freestanding sign.
Okay.
So
Where would this be going?
this would be going on the corner. My understanding, it would be going on. All right, at the corner of Center and Bluff. My pointer's not working tonight.
So right here at the little curve.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, will there be, because when we talked last time, and I'm sure, I thought some of this was supposed to be a directional sign. Park here, go over there, drop off there,
That's
go back that way.
right. Now, that's not part of this application. That's
Oh, so that's going to be another application.
no, so that won't have to come before
Okay.
y'all.
All right.
That's when we get through this tonight, we should be done with what we need to bring to y'all. Yeah, the other is directional sign will be small enough that it's like enter and exit signs.
Thank you.
Any more questions of Mr. Paradise? Applicant going to come forward again? I'll swear you in again. Better tell truth, whole truth, nothing but truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
And state your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, sir. My name is Fletcher Dickard. I am representing the property owner, which is located at 150 Bluff Avenue. And I'm the general contractor, Allen Batchelor Construction. So to Tommy's point, yes, it would be located at the corner of Center Street and Bluff, located just behind the brick retaining wall. There's a little brick kind of pony wall there now. And kind of angled towards the traffic light so that as you turned onto Center Street from Georgia Avenue, you would see that sign telling you clearly where this business is. The sign, if you can see, is about 5 foot. The actual visible signage portion is about 5 foot wide by about 4 foot tall, just to give you an idea for scale. That's going to be about this tall and only about this wide. So, I mean, for how big that building is, we're not talking, it's going to look, it's not going to be a huge sign. But I think at the same time, communicate what the tenant is trying to accomplish, which is as people come around that corner, they instantly see a sign and know where the building is. I appreciate Mr. Paradise bringing up there's some confusion in the packet because I read it and saw where some places mentioned internal illumination and halo. The signage company, which you can see here, AAA signs, looking at it, they're recommending based on the size of the sign and the location that it be what we call traditional internal illumination, not halo. If this board's not going to approve that, and the only option is halo, like the building, then we'll just have to go that route. But there's serious concerns that trying to achieve this with halo is going to actually accomplish the goal of lighting it up enough for people to be able to quickly and easily and efficiently see it. Everybody kind of thought that it being internally illuminated, but only this size would make it not, stand out too drastic, but stand out enough to garner the attention of folks. So the request is for internal illumination.
I guess the owner doesn't feel like the wall signs that have been already approved are enough or sufficient.
Correct. I mean, because there's the signs up high, but then this is of scale. That's the reason it's only needed as a small sign is because there's the sign on the building. This is meant to be low so that it's at eye level when you kind of round that corner. I mean, if you look up, you'll see the halo illumination. It's a little softer lit up there, but then down low, this would be basically at eye level for you coming around.
So I guess if it was included in the previous application, it'd all kind of been a big package. Three signs, 2 wall signs and this sign.
Correct.
Are all elements of the sign illuminated, like the Augusta Ecology lettering as well as the symbol? Is it all of it will be illuminated, or is it just the top?
My understanding, hang on just a second, because I don't want to misspeak. The letters are internally illuminated as well.
And that's bulbs, or is that LED?
That's all of them are LED these days. Yes, sir. And it's just one-sided because it's angled towards the road. And so the colors, the brick that you see here, it all matches the building, just like the addition we just completed over there. So it'll blend in nicely with the look of the building. Will this be on a timer that, once they close at 9 o'clock at night, say at 10 o'clock it cuts off, and then if they open up at 6 o'clock, it comes back on at 5:30, 5 o'clock, or is it gonna stay lit 24/7?
That's a good question. 99% of the time, they're always on a time clock. Do I have that specific answer? No, because
The reason,
that's not if that's a concern, that's not a problem.
yeah, because on a couple of them that we have done, we've had them turn it off between certain hours, and I know nobody's gonna be staying there. I know there's apartments above the bluff, but on a couple of the neighborhoods that close signs, we had them turned off between like 10 and 4.
There would be no objection to that.
What time does deliveries happen? What's the latest deliveries you talk about? Because before, I think the trucks for some deliveries would happen in the evenings and they needed the lights and all that.
They do. I don't know those exact times. I think honestly they're early in the morning.
And that is something we probably could look at or work at, between 12 and 3, or just like I said, we don't want it lit up all the time, in my opinion, but.
Well, not with those apartments across the street or whatever. But another thing, the trucks delivering, even if it's a van, they're at a higher level than a passenger car. Might could see
See
the
the
one on
upper.
top.
Yeah.
Yeah, the client's not going to have an objection to putting some time limitations if that's the wish of this board.
I think that's best.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
I'll ask the public. Nobody's gonna come forward. Anybody can speak for or against, so. All right, well, I'll close the public hearing on this application. All right, this is for a variance. So, per North Augusta Development Code 18.4.5.4.2, the Board of Zoning Appeals may hear and decide appeals for variances from the requirements of Article 5, use and use conditions, and Article 9, signs, when strict application of the regulations would result in unnecessary hardship. Variance may be granted in an individual case of unnecessary hardship if the Board of Zoning Appeals makes and explains in writing all the following. 1, an unnecessary hardship exists. 2, there are extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to the particular piece of property. 3, the conditions do not generally apply to other property in the vicinity. 4, because of the conditions, the application of this chapter to the particular piece of property would effectively prohibit or unreasonably restrict the utilization of the property. 5, the authorization of a variance will not be a substantial detriment to adjacent property or to the public good, and the character of the district will not be harmed by the granting of the variance. Harm to the character of the district may include structures that are significantly out of scale and the creation of potential for the creation of excessive noise, light traffic, or incompatible late-night activity. In the approval of an application 6, in the approval of an application for a variance from the provisions of Article 9, signs regulating the size, height, appearance, or location of a sign, the Board of Zoning Appeals may also find that no other alternative signage solution that complies with the provisions of Article 9 is available and would provide adequate visibility, recognition, and understanding. 7, the Board of Zoning Appeals may not grant a variance to the effect of which would be A, to allow the establishment of a use not otherwise permitted in the zoning district, B, to extend physically a non-conforming use of land, and C, to change zoning district boundaries shown on the official zoning map. 8, if the unnecessary hardship is self-imposed by the applicant, the variance should not be granted. 9, the fact that property may be utilized more profitably should a variance be granted shall not be considered grounds for a variance. In 10, in granting a variance, the Board of Zoning Appeals may attach to it such conditions regarding the location, character, or other features of the proposed building structure or use as the board may consider advisable to promote the public health, safety, or general welfare. Based on these findings of fact, the Board of Zoning Appeals may approve with conditions, or deny the request. Again, we got to meet all 10 in the affirmative for the application to be approved. So we'll go to consideration part. So question one, the unnecessary hardship exists. The applicant states that the current code limitation prohibits our business from displaying the universal signage used at all our treatment locations throughout their service area. The services provided at this location will be accessed by a large majority of our patient base who are or have been treated at one of our other treatment locations. Standardized signage that contains our logo is paramount, confirming for these patients that they are in the correct location to receive services. In addition, numerous equipment, service, and supply vendors are required to access our building at night after business hours to avoid the interference with patient treatment during the workday. These vendors are often not from our community and have little knowledge of how to find us. While staff notes, while illumination is not allowed, staff notes that section 9.6.3.c would allow illuminated neon signage where graphics and letters or neon tubing. So this is a question about hardship, unnecessary hardship exists.
I tend to agree, and I'd much rather have to see this sign than one. It still strikes me as strange that you could have a neon
How did they get in there?
sign.
Weird.
So I don't have any problem at all with
I
this.
don't either.
I don't either, and it said the wall signs were not enough by themselves, so you kind of need the whole package to identify the building. I'm okay with it.
Well, it's like I said last time, that these people that are coming here under duress, and they need it to be as easy as possible to find everything.
So I'm good with one. You okay, London? Yeah, okay. All right, we agree with one. Number two, there are extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to the particular piece of property. The applicant states that the geographic site presents several unique challenges that soft internally lighted signs would help address. First, our building sits below grade from the major thoroughfares entering North Augusta, mainly Georgia Avenue. Second, the municipal building located adjacent to our building is one of the largest structures in North Augusta and towers 4 stories into the air. Essentially blocks all traffic from being able to see our building until they are immediately in front of our address. Third, one of the largest parking garages in the city is located immediately to our south and shield a view of our building from that direction. Finally, our location serves as a gateway entrance into our new riverfront developments. We are a linchpin or connector located that should ideally reflect the charm of both districts. Staff notes that the building on the property is larger than most other buildings in the downtown mixed-use 2 district and 2 additional floors in height. The mass of the building is different than most buildings in the district that may result in external illumination, offering limited visibility of the signage from the street level. The applicant is correct that the municipal building is to the south and obstructs visibility from Georgia Avenue.
I'm okay with that.
So I'm okay with 2 being the extraordinary and exceptional conditions. Yeah. You okay, Linda? Okay. All right, number 3. The conditions do not generally apply to other buildings, property in the vicinity. The applicant states that the conditions surrounding our building do not exist for any other businesses, as there are none located immediately adjacent to the municipal building and or the parking garage. We are uniquely surrounded by large public structures on 2 sides that dominate the skyline and attract much of the attention of passersby. We are unaware of any other location in the city where 2 very large public structures are joining the parcel. Staff notes that staff would agree that this building is unique to downtown mixed-use 2 district and has large public buildings on 2 sides. So,
Okay.
I'm okay.
I'm okay with that.
We're good with 3. Number 4, because of the conditions, the application's chapter to the particular piece of property would effectively prohibit or unreasonably restrict the utilization of the property. The applicant states that the unreasonable restriction which limits the visibility of our building has the potential to confuse patients and caregivers as to where our services are located. As such, if patients cannot locate, they are more apt to miss needed treatment or find alternative care providers that are not located within our community. Staff notes that signage is regulated by the zoning district and not their particular use. But I agree with the applicant on number 4. I'm good with it.
I'm good with
fine
it.
with that too. Same reason.
All right, number 5, the authorization of a variance will not be a substantial detriment to adjacent property or to the public good, and the character of the district will not be harmed by the granting of the variance. Harm to the character of the district may include structures that are significantly out of scale and the creation of potential for the creation of excessive noise, light, traffic, or incompatible late night activity. The applicant states that the requested internal illumination will not be a substantial detriment or adjacent property or harmful to the character of the district for several reasons. First, the signage complies with all other requirements of Section 9 of the Development Code. Next, there are no residential properties located near the signage location. And finally, the lighting does not produce front-facing or reflective glare so as to be a distraction or hazard for vehicles or pedestrians. Staff notes the proposed signage does not affect any residential properties in the area or dominate over other signage allowed in the district. Staff also notes that the wall signage was approved at the December 3rd, 2024 BZA meeting to allow halo-type illumination. The proposed halo lighting of the freestanding sign, which is not proposed, well, that's what
That's not,
so I'll just read the statement. The proposed halo sign of the freestanding sign may allow a more unified and aesthetically pleasing sight. But like I said, that last sentence, we can kind of scratch that. How do we feel about number 5?
I'm still okay with
Good.
5.
I'm fine.
We're
Fine
good.
with that.
I'm good. Jim, you good? Okay. Number 6, in approval of an application for a variance for the provision of Article 9 signs regulating the size, height, appearance, or location of a sign, the Board of Zoning Appeals shall also find that no alternative signage solution that complies with the provisions of Article 9 is available and will provide adequate visibility, recognition, and understanding. The applicant states that all provisions of Section 9 of the Development Code are met by the requested signage with the exception of the internal illumination. The code-approved alternative of neon tubing would produce more front-facing light and glare than our proposed illumination method. The area surrounding our building has numerous parking lots and related site lighting. In addition, the street lighting on George Avenue, Bluff Avenue, and Center Street combined with the aforementioned parking lot lighting to give a universal white light to the area. An externally lighted sign in this area would simply blend into the background and go relatively unnoticed. Thus, neon tubing signage would likely be our next best code-approved alternative. However, we believe the proposed soft-lighted halo sign, which is not being done, would create a low-light emitting signage with muted color hues that would be visible to those looking to locate our services. The signage is not intended to be bright and attention-getting for the general public. The method of light emission, reflective light against the building and not front-facing light was selected specifically to get as close to code compliance as possible while still accomplishing the goal of internal illumination in the signage. We believe our ability to reach and inform those patients seeking our services, as well as vendors and patients transport services such as ambulances, will be compromised. Staff notes that Section 9.6.3.2.c of the Development Code states that externally illuminated signs and signs in which the letters or graphics are constructed of neon tubing are permitted in the Downtown Mixed Use District. Staff notes that the neon tubing signage is an alternative signage solution for the internally illuminated monument signage. The building has 207 linear feet of street frontage. The total area of signage requested and the variance is 15.97 square feet. So that's a big paragraph there, but again, the halo option is not being used in this to make sure we're
It's
good
surely not neon tubing.
and not neon tubing. So I think that
I think.
I'm okay with what they're presenting.
Yeah.
Right.
You good, Jim? All right. Number 7, we're good with 6. Number 7, the Board of Zoning Appeals may not grant a variance to the effect of which would be to allow the establishment of a use not otherwise permitted in a zoning district. Staff notes the use of the property is office space and will be a medical office allowed in downtown mixed use 2. The applicant is not requesting the establishment of a use not otherwise permitted. B, to extend physically a non-conforming use of land. The variance does not extend a physically non-conforming use of the land. And C, to change zoning district boundaries shown on the official zoning map. And staff notes the application does not propose a change to the zoning district boundaries, so we're good with that.
Fine there.
Number 8, if the unnecessary hardship is self-imposed by the applicant, the variance should not be granted. The applicant's request is not self-imposed, but requested due to the particular nature and circumstances of the property. I agree
Fine
with that.
there.
Good? Good. The fact that the property, number 9, the fact that the property may be utilizable properly should a variance be granted shall not be considered grounds for a variance. The applicant's request is not based on making the property more profitable. Construction for uses already being permitted and under construction. I'm
Yep.
good with
Good,
that.
I'm
That's
good
good
with
with
that.
that.
All right, good, Jim. All right, number 10, in granting a variance, the Board of Zoning Appeals may attach to it such conditions regarding the location, character, or other features of the proposed building structure or use as the board may consider advisable to promote public health, safety, or general welfare. If approved, staff will recommend the following conditions. Number 1, the signage installed shall utilize, well,
Scratch out.
We would scratch that.
we're gonna
right?
scratch number 1. Okay.
And do we need to scratch it or still just scratch out halo and put internal?
That would be fine as well.
Okay, let's
Let's
do that.
scratch out halo and put internal.
Internal, that's good. Good catch. Number 1, the signage installed shall utilize internal illumination and be of the design as shown in the application by the applicant. Number 2, the variance in specific to this application does not run with the land or other signage. Number 3, there may, that's not a number 3 right now, so we just have the 2.
Yes.
Are there any other conditions we want to? Are we
I think
good with
the
these
timer
two?
thing
Just,
is,
some note that if it becomes an issue, we can put a timer or
That would be something that would need to be a condition on this. I don't know, the ones that you've done before has been in predominantly residential districts for schools.
Reader boards stuff.
Yeah, those electronic boards.
or is this self-dimming, kind of like I'm assuming during the daytime it's not going to be on.
It's got a photo eye.
I don't know.
what'd you say?
Does it have a photo eye at all?
More than likely. Yeah. I mean, is it one of those things that, I hate to turn that corner and it's, big old stadium light shining at you when you turn that corner.
Oh, we would do something about that.
That'd be
There's-
something that
there's a
y'all would
thing
be
in
able
the
to
glare.
handle interior. If you
Um,
got enough complaints that
If it was causing a traffic problem or glare, that's one thing. But we wouldn't be able to say, hey, you've got to turn that off between X
Yeah.
hours. Yeah, they would basically change some bulbs in it and dim it and that type of thing, so you don't, it's not as bright. The one difference on this one is, and whatever the board wants to do, but the others was in residential, which is, this is a mixed use.
Yeah.
So you have the combination between commercial and residential there, so.
So do we want, are we good with how it's written in?
yeah, we'll just leave it and they'll have to handle it internally.
Okay.
I don't think there's any houses around that area.
Apartments.
There'll be
Apartments, yeah,
apartments
I
up
guess there's
above,
already-
but
yeah,
still at the same,
that's right.
which is not going to be. And I do not foresee this being too bright. And if you look at the way it's worded on the plan here, it's just going to be their logo up top and right at the letters down below. It's not going to be the whole sign. But at the same time, I just know what we've done in the past. Just let them work it out, or Fletcher can kind of, hey, this was some of the comments. Let's just kind of play it by ear, set a timer on it, and just, off.
They don't have a view.
No, the three-story Beacon Bluff building does not have apartments.
Oh, it doesn't.
Does not. Only the carpet shop building, now being known as the Rink, has apartments in it. And the new three-story building
It's pretty much
blocks the view
the
of
rink.
this sign from the Rink.
Yeah, but all the new signage, don't know. So you go be back here. Let me just stage this again for when we start doing Beacon Bluff for signage. That's what I figured.
All right, so we got two conditions.
I'm good with those.
Good with two conditions. Okay, so we've answered in the affirmative for all 10.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Based on the findings previously discussed and voted on, I move that application number ZD24-016, Augusta Oncology Medical Complex, a request, by Beacon Bluff Medical LLC, variance to the North Augusta Development Code 18.4.5.4.2 of the North Augusta Development Code be granted with the following conditions. The signage installed shall use internal illumination and be of the design as shown in the application by the applicant. Number 2, the variance is specific to this application and does not run with the land or any other signage.
We got a motion approved with
I
conditions.
second it.
Star Wars. Seconds. Any other discussion? All in favor of approving the application, raise your hand, please. And unanimous with Mr. Burkhalter having to leave early. So the variance is approved. Is there anything else we need to discuss?
No, sir.